What's up, guys? It is Sunday, so we're going to continue on through the CD collection a little later in the day, getting this one up than usual. Wish I had a good excuse, but I've just been sitting in my drawers and eating potato chips, so I'm sure you enjoy that mental image I just gave you. I'm just going to jump right in. We're on part 86. We're still in the K section. I wasn't even sure if I was going to show this first one because someone made this for me. It is not any type of official release. I don't think the band ever even released this demo on a physical format. They've even gone as far to pull this off of their Bandcamp. If you paid for it, you still have access to it, but it's like listed as private now, so you can't even get this on Bandcamp. But this is Chemist with their 2013 demo, just a 3-track demo. I'm not even going to say who made it for me because some people are very weird about the unofficial releases and that type stuff. I even posted this on a social media at one point, showing that someone had made this for me, and one of the band members seemed a little irritated that I even had this. So definitely not even going to bother saying who made that for me, but I am very appreciative that they did because I do like having that. It sounds much different than the Chemist that we all know today. Then I have the debut full length. This is Absolution, just killer doom metal. I love Chemists. They've gone a little bit more proggy in some of the later releases, but that's okay. I still enjoy everything that they're doing, and this was a solid debut full length. Then I have the follow-up to that. This is the one that kind of pretty much put them on the map, I think. This is the one that really turned some heads and got people interested in the band. This one is entitled Hunted. I mean, you can look at the artworks that they have on all of their releases, and you know that you're getting you some killer doom metal just from the artwork. And that's exactly what it is. Very melodic stuff, very catchy doom metal, and I enjoy it quite a bit. A lot of people look at Hunted as probably their favorite Chemist release. I may be in the minority, as I think this third full length is my favorite. This is Chemist with Desolation. This album just resonated with me more than anything else that this band has ever put out. I don't know if it was just the time of my life that I heard this one that it hit me the way it did. I'm not sure, but I love all of their releases, but this one is definitely my favorite from the band. I have the Doomed Heavy Metal EP. The live version of The Bereaved that is on this EP is absolutely phenomenal. I love their track on here, A Conversation with Death, as well. There we go. All of those, aside from the handmade demo, were released on $20 spin. They were recently picked up by Nuclear Blast Records. Their 2021 full-length Deceiver came out through Nuclear Blast. This one definitely has a hefty dose of prog in it. They leaned a little bit heavier into the progressive metal territory on this release. The doom metal is still there, but they did lean a little heavier into the prog areas, but that's okay. It's still a phenomenal release. I still find myself returning to this one quite often as well, so no complaints out of me whatsoever. Next up, we have some black metal out of Norway. This is a band called Cold, and I'm going to butcher every one of their album titles that I own. This is Mork Graver's Kammer. Yeah, pretty good. I received all 3 of these that I'm going to show in a bulk lot of Candlelight Records releases that I picked up several years ago. Haven't listened to them in quite some time. They were a little much when I first received them. I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for that kind of icy dark black metal stuff, but I definitely need to return to these. Upon like latter listens, I probably haven't listened to them in a couple years now, but the last times that I did listen to them, I was a little bit more open to the music that was on them, so I probably would enjoy them a bit more now if whenever I take the time to revisit these again. This one is Krek, and I believe this was the first one that I ever listened to, and funny enough, out of the 3 that I own, it's probably my least favorite, so that could have played a role in why I was so slow and have been so slow to really spend some time with these, because this next one that I'm going to show is probably my favorite of the three that I own, and this is a 100R Gamel. Like I said, I butchered that, I'm sure, but it's actually not just a solo project, although the artworks would make you feel like it is as well. I think there's like 5 members of the band, but I do need to go back and spend some more time with these, because especially this one, because I do remember being a bit fond of it, but like I said, it's been quite some time since I've listened to any of those. Next up was a freebie. I did an order through Season of Mist quite some time ago, and they sent this one to me, and it was just in a little paper sleeve, but it's pretty good. It's kind of black metal, industrial, progressive, all tied in together. It's very different listen, but I found it to be quite enjoyable. I had a extra little jewel case that I put this in. This is Kansu with Anomalia. Like I said, it's a bit out there. It's very extreme sounding stuff, and it's very different, but has a bit of a spacey vibe, as you can kind of gather from that artwork. But it turned out to be, I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to when I first looked at it and saw like the description of the band before I listened to it. I thought it was going to be a bit much. At times it can be, but it was not a bad listen at all. Next up, we have a project out of Italy. This is groove metal slash, I guess, groove metalcore, and as bad as that description sounds, this is actually a pretty decent CD. This is Kiju with Nothing to Play For, and even the artwork and the fact that it's like groove metal slash metalcore, and it's got some thrashy moments, kind of thrashy metalcore fused with groove metal. I know that sounds like it would be absolutely terrible, but this isn't that bad. I actually enjoyed this more than I would have ever expected to. But a pretty decent little slab of metal there out of Italy. Next up, might as well go on with the Walk of Shame here. This is one that's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. We've got some new metal. I've enjoyed this album since I was in high school. This is Kilgore with A Search of Reason. I have no reason to love this album as much as I should. It doesn't really stand the test of time. I think that it's more of a nostalgia kind of fondness that I have for this release, if I had to guess of anything, but it still holds a special place for me. And sometimes you hear music from your past and it can kind of transport you somewhere else, and this album absolutely does that. So there we go, Kilgore with A Search for Reason. Next up, we have another project, heavy dose of Italy in this portion of the CD collection. This is Kill the Easter Rabbit with, I'm going to butcher this album title as well, Apocatastasis. Yeah. This is sludge metal, doomy sludge stuff. It's pretty solid. I got this in a CD lot, I think from Metallic Media. It's been years ago now, but I did enjoy this one. It's definitely stayed in the collection and stayed in rotation since. I believe this band has some other albums out as well, but this is the only one that I have in my possession. Next up, this is one that was actually a gift from my wife, a birthday gift a few years ago. This is Killing Addiction with Omega Factor. This is an original press, 1993 on JL America. She did real good on that present. This is some killer death metal, 90s death metal, absolute classic and a must-own. Just a throwback release. I had to change out the jewel case when it arrived, but fantastic release. And then I have their newest release. They only have 2 full lengths. This one came out in, I think, 2021. And so you've got, 28 years between releases. One was in 93 and then one was in 2021. This is the sophomore release, Mind of a New God. This one's pretty good. I still like Omega Factor better. I don't know, maybe because this was on my want list and I wanted it for so long. But this is pretty solid. I mean, obviously the sounds aren't the same, with it being almost a 30-year gap between the bands. At points, it doesn't even sound like it's the same band, but it's still a very, very solid death metal release from Killing Addiction. Then we have I guess a four-way split. I was going to say a compilation, but I think best way to say it is a four-way split out of Brazil. This is entitled Killing All the Posers. And as goofy as that sounds, this is actually pretty solid. The bands on this, Purgatory, Sangrina, Deformity BR, and Imperial Devastation, all four do a really good job on this split. I enjoy it. I do enjoy Sangrina, so that's probably my favorite portion of the split. But I mean, the entire little comp or split here is actually pretty solid, and I get a laugh out of the artwork and just the name of the comp, Killing All the Posers. So good thing they didn't come kill me. I've been called a poser more often than I would like to admit. So let me take a swig, and we're going to keep marching on through. Next up, I believe this band is out of Italy as well. This is some more, this is some black and death metal released on Deathgasm Records, and it's super solid. I really like this, and you can find this album, with it being on Deathgasm, you can find this album super cheap. They just print a lot of their material to death, and I'm not even mad about it because it makes it much easier to get your hands on. You don't have to pay inflated prices for it or anything, and this is a definite pickup if you ever see this one out at a very good price. This is King with Forged by Satan's Doctrine. Solid black and death metal. Gets super heavy at times, and it's super evil sounding. Just, you can kind of get that look from it, but super solid. I think I've even gifted this at least once, maybe twice, to people along the way, because it always winds up in my possession, but I'm never going to get rid of my personal copy. Next up, we have the man, the myth, the legend. We have King Diamond with Abigail, my favorite King Diamond release. I love King Diamond. I sold off quite a bit of my King Diamond material like an idiot many years ago, and I just haven't gone back and re-added it to the collection. I did keep this one as it is my favorite. This is the remastered version. I still remember picking this one up at a Hastings. I was in Middle Tennessee, heading, I think I was on my way to Atlanta for a concert, and I stopped at a Hastings. Rest in peace, Hastings. I missed those stores as well. And this was in the used section, and I snatched it up so fast to add that one to the collection. Next up, we have The Graveyard. This is also a remaster. This one's pretty good. I don't find myself returning to this one as much as some of the other stuff, but it's still a pretty good album in its own right. He's such a creative artist that it blows my mind, the way he's able to tell these stories through the albums and make good music to go along with the stories that he's able to tell. We have King Diamond with House of God. Show you the inside of that one. And then I'll show you probably my second favorite King Diamond release. I'm probably in the minority on this one as well, and that is the Puppet Master. As you can see, this digipack I have is absolutely wore out. It's definitely the most played outside of probably Abigail. I like the story that he's able to convey on this one and the way that he's able to do it. This is the double disc version, but good stuff there from the King. Next up, we have King Fear. I went blank there for a second with Frostbite. This is some more black and death metal. This is a band out of Germany. This was released in 2013. Not a lot of people know of this band, but this is some solid material. Unfortunately, this is the only full length that this band has ever put out, and it shows their status is still active on the Metal Archive. So maybe at some point we will get some more King Fear material. I really liked Frostbite, and I'm hoping that at some point in the future I am surprised with some more King Fear. Definitely check that one out if you're into Black and Death. very icy, hateful sounding stuff there. Next up, we have King Giant with a Dismal Hollow. This is Southern metal, I guess is the best way I can put that. It sounds like you've got Glenn Danzig singing like this folky Southern metal. It's really good. The track Appomattox that starts this off, I absolutely love. I've had this album for probably over 10 years now, and I still love it. It is the only release from King Giant that I own. At some point, I probably will add some more of their material into the collection, but the first time that I heard this, I had to get my hands on it. I still remember reading a little write-up. I think it was in Decibel magazine, probably around 2011, and I remember reading the write-up, and it was like, you know what, just from what they wrote in there, without even checking it out, I went and grabbed it, and I definitely was not let down. Next up, we have a release off of Transcending Records. This is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with Polygon Dwana Land. Yeah, I'll say that one about 5 times fast. Super progressive. I don't even know the best way to describe this band. It's like prog rock. There's a lot of stuff going on. It does get heavy at times. It's super dense. It can be a bit much. I think that this band would be one of those bands that I would enjoy seeing live. I think I would enjoy them live more than I actually do on CD. It's not a bad album by any means. It's probably my favorite release from this band, but it can be a little much. It's something that I definitely have to be in the mood for to listen to. Next up, we have some doom metal, I guess kind of progressive doom metal out of England. We have King Goat with Conduit. This was one of the first albums that I purchased on Bandcamp. It's been many, many years ago. It says 2015 on the back. It was probably 2016 when I actually picked this up for myself and found it. I just found it kind of scrolling on Bandcamp one day and listened to it and fell in love with it. It's only 5 tracks long, but I'm positive the runtime on this goes over 40 minutes. Very solid. I do enjoy it. They have this way of creating these atmospheres of just like loneliness and conveying that in a way that not a whole lot of doom metal. I mean, doom metal, that's a pretty prevalent theme, is like loneliness and melancholy, but they're able to make me feel that way. They're masters at their craft, I guess is the best way I can put that. And then I have the follow-up that came out a couple years after that. I'm going to say probably around 2018 or so. I don't see a date on it, but this is King Goat with Depth of Aeons. I really like this one as well. I mean, I fell in love with Conduit when I first heard it, but the follow-up is every bit as good. It's kind of a continuation. There hasn't been a whole lot of change-up as far as the sound or anything between the two albums. Looking forward to this band putting out some stuff in the future, I hope. They only have these 2 full lengths out, so maybe we'll get some more someday. Next up, I have some New York death metal. I say death metal / deathcore. Took me forever to get this. I bought this from the band, and it took a while for it to show up. This is King Pariah with Civil Unrest. This came out in 2014. I was a little bit more into the deathcore side of things, and I was actually in I still am, but I was in a metal and core collecting group on Facebook, and that's where the band kind of posted that they were selling these, and I picked one up. It just took forever for me to get this, so it's pretty good. The band is still listed as active, but that's all that they've ever released, so I guess we'll just kind of wait and see if anything else ever comes out of the King Pariah camp. Next up, we have King Woman with Created in the Image of Suffering. This is an album that if I were to be partaking, if I was a person that partook in any type of extracurriculars, I'll just leave it at that, it would be something like this that I would want playing in the background while I did that. I got this in a Relapse Records grab bag, and it's pretty good. It's kind of doom-gazy. It is doom metal, has some sludgy moments, some stonery moments, but it also has like this post-rock and even like shoegaze moments going on as well. The vocals are kind of mumble vocals at times, but it just works. It's pretty dark sounding stuff, but I do find this to be very enjoyable. Next up, a couple more Relapse titles. This is one that some of you probably may not like. This is Kingdom of Sorrow with their self-titled. I think this is the debut self-titled. I got a lot of memories tied up in this one as well. I like Kurt Josta. He's kind of hit or miss with me and with the stuff that he's involved in, whether I like it or not. I had a very good friend pass away right about the time that this album was released, and there's a song on here called "Screaming to the Sky" that just hit and just broke me when I heard it because of the that's what that song's about. So I mean, it's listening to that song now can still, even just talking about it right now, can still kind of choke me up. And then I have the follow-up to that entitled "Behind the Blackest Tears." This one's okay. I do like the self-titled a bit better. This one actually has the two guys there. Absolutely love this dude and everything that just about everything he's a part of. So there we go. And then we're going to wrap this one up with a album that I found at Goodwill. This is King's X with Dogman. Probably my favorite King's X record. Kind of funky, bluesy rock. Gets a little heavier, has a doomy metal feel at times and a hard rock feel. But good stuff. I do like that one. It was worth the dollar that I paid for it at Goodwill. That's all I've got for today. I'm going to try to get a couple videos up, at least one more video up this week. I liked the traffic that I was able to generate on the channel last week with having the little extra videos. So we will try to keep that momentum going this week. Hope you guys have a great week. I will see you soon. Stay classy, stay metal, all that good stuff. I'm out.